It's something Lindsay Buziak's loved ones still struggle to understand.
Lindsay was one of the most spectacular young ladies I've ever met.
She was the kind of girl other people wanted to be around, especially people like Jason Zalo.
Was she in a relationship?
She was with Jason at the time, and I knew that she was extremely happy. I absolutely adored him.
And Lindsay was just as happy with her new career, selling houses in upscale Victoria, British Columbia.
Getting into real estate was a big thing for her.
Roughly a year into her job, Lindsay was approached with an unbelievable deal.
She received a cold call out of the blue from clients requesting to purchase a house over the weekend. And they were looking at a home in the $1 million range.
Was it too good to be true? Apparently, Lindsay had some doubts.
She said, "Daddy, there's something weird I'm sensing about this."
But according to her dad, she didn't back out.
She said, "I asked Jason, he's going to be there."
Lindsay started hunting for houses, settling on this 3-bedroom, 3-bath in the town of Saanich. Sergeant Chris Horsley recalls what police know about that night.
Lindsay showed up and she met the client here on this private little street. We did have witnesses that viewed the interaction between the parties.
The witnesses see Lindsay talking to a blonde woman wearing a distinctively colorful dress like this one and a 6-foot-tall man with dark hair. Police have records of the precise timeline of Lindsay Buziak's last minutes alive.
The lockbox is computer access. It was unlocked just before 5:30, so 5:29, the lockbox is open.
Those are her shoes just inside the entryway.
We know that Lindsay showed the main floor of the home, and then they went upstairs.
Upstairs to the primary bedroom. Police say it was just 9 to 11 minutes after entering the home. How are they so sure?
At 5:41, there is a dial out on her phone. It goes to a friend she hasn't spoken to in some time, and all you can hear is muffling on the message.
It was a pocket dial with deadly implications.
When they went upstairs, there's a master bedroom and an ensuite bathroom. We know that when Lindsay turned to show the ensuite bathroom, she was then attacked from the rear.
She was stabbed, cops say, over 40 times.
This was a targeted attack for the sole purpose of killing Lindsay Buziak.
At the time, police knew nothing of the couple they now believe carried out the attack. But when they arrived, investigators find Lindsay's boyfriend, Jason Zalo, and one of his friends.
We locked down that house immediately. Mr. Zalo and his friend were both taken into police custody.
Turns out Jason called police. Later, he gives investigators a breakdown of his whereabouts that day.
We're quite confident that at 5:41 is when the attack took place.
Jason tells police he drives up to the house just 4 minutes later, and he may have seen the killers.
The killers were actually about to walk out the front door and leave, and he turned into the cul-de-sac and interrupted them leaving.
They were that brazen that they were going to walk out the front door.
If he had been 5 seconds later, he would have driven right into the suspects walking out here into the driveway.
Instead, he tells police the couple turned around and closed the door.
He then parks outside because he is waiting for the showing to end.
Approximately 20 minutes later, Jason texts Lindsay, "Are you okay?" No answer.
And it's at the moment that they realize the front door to the home is locked that he becomes alarmed.
Jason calls police.
Between the police arrival and that first 911 call, Jason and his friend notice a rear French door is ajar on the home.
Then, as seen in police video recorded at the crime scene, Jason tells investigators how his friend entered through the back and let him in through the front.
He was already in front of me.
Yeah.
And I said, "I'm running upstairs."
Okay.
And I was yelling, I'm like, "Lindsay, Lindsay, Lindsay."
Jason says he ran to the primary bedroom where he found Lindsay's body and called police again.
I just came running up the stairs.
Do you remember driving the banister at all, or?
Down there.
Police say the evidence supports Jason's version of events, but Lindsay's father has questions.
I would have gone and checked as soon as I saw somebody dart in and out of a front door. That concerns me.
Mr. Zalo was cooperative with police based on forensic evidence, timeline of communications, witness testimony, video surveillance. We know he's not the killer.
So then who is?
This sounds like a professional hit, because who can pull this off in less than 10 minutes?
Well, it certainly has the hallmarks of being pre-planned and pre-orchestrated, without a doubt.
Police in Greater Victoria, British Columbia have interviewed hundreds of people, followed nearly 1,000 leads, but the person who carried out the savage stabbing death of Lindsay Buziak at a house showing remains a mystery.
Do you think that the cops have done a good enough job of looking into that?
Somebody viciously executed my daughter and walked out of that house, and have not been caught to this day. So whenever I'm asked, do I think they're doing a good job? No.
But to that, police say,
We have not just spent resources. At one point in time, we had up to 40 people working on this investigation, but we've spent millions of dollars as well. But at the end of the day, it's still not solved. So the criticism is valid.
But one thing Sergeant Chris Horsley says the murder of Lindsay Buziak is not.
Is this technically a cold case?
No, not at all. This case is still assigned.
In the immediate aftermath of the murder, police focused their efforts on identifying the couple that set up the open house where Lindsay was killed.
We don't have anything in the form of DNA or fingerprints which would lead to a suspect identification.
Police have some theories, though. One of them tied to a trip Lindsay made to Calgary just 6 weeks before her murder.
And this is in December, and the murder was in February.
Apparently, while Lindsay was in Calgary, she reached out to an old acquaintance from Victoria, once by phone and another time through Facebook.
We don't know the nature of the call. We don't know why she called him. We don't know why she was on his Facebook site.
What they do know is the person she contacted was the family member of a man named Erickson Delacazar, and shortly after Lindsay went back to Victoria, Delacazar, along with 13 other people, were all caught in the biggest drug bust in the history of the province.
What we can say is that people lost a lot of money, and the people that lost the drugs know that someone spoke to the police. A witch hunt occurred where people were being questioned. People were being pulled out of their beds in the middle of the night and asked, who have you spoken to? Because they know that someone spoke to the police. We know Lindsay was not the person who spoke to the police, but she's someone who, from the periphery, is somewhat involved with these people and is an easy target.
But why would Lindsay even be known to the people in the drug trade to begin with?
Victoria, everybody knows everybody. It's that simple.
So is that the theory you believe? Which is the one you believe?
I do, but if you really ask the police, this is a complicated murder. It has many twists and turns. There are killers and there are conspirators.
On his website, LindsayBuziakMurder.com, Jeff and others share theories about potential killers.
I get threatened probably weekly with lawsuits.
Either way, Jeff's efforts do often put him at odds with authorities.
It's an ongoing issue.
But with his beautiful young daughter gone and no justice in sight, Jeff and his family vow to keep up the fight.
And these people have to know that they're not going to get away with murdering Lindsay Buziak.